Hi, Tom here. In this week's Circle Line Optical drawing, I'll show you one way to draw a city in one-point perspective, and we could add Spider-Man to the city as well. The first step in this drawing is to draw a dot, and this will be the vanishing point for all the receding lines of the buildings in one-point perspective. From this dot, we can draw a line going towards the left. All the receding lines from the buildings, as we're looking down upon them, will go towards this one single vanishing point. So this first line going towards the left is a corner receding line of one of the tall buildings. Next, we can draw a couple of more lines going towards the top left of the page, and these will be the base of the building and the edge of a road. And then at a right angle from these two lines, we can draw two more lines going towards the bottom left of your page. Again, these will be the base of the building and the corner of the road. Now, using the vanishing point, we can start to add another line for the edge of our first building. And then the top surface of the building will be a right angle. And then we can use our vanishing point, our single vanishing point, as this is a drawing in one-point perspective, to find the other edge of the building. And now we've got three edges of a building, and we can draw the rectangle at the top of the building, and hopefully it starts to look like we're looking down upon a very tall building from a very high height, just by making the receding lines of the building go towards our vanishing point. Next, we could draw some indications of details at the very top of the building. So I could do that by just drawing a rectangle within the first rectangle, and then give this rectangle a thickness like a wall that's going towards the vanishing point on two sides. So all of the lines that we're looking straight down upon, they're going to be at right angles to each other. For example, the tops of the buildings and the levels of the floors of the buildings and the roads, all of these shapes are going to be at right angles. But all of the lines which are receding are going to be receding to the single vanishing point, because all of the buildings are on a grid. They're all parallel to each other, and therefore all the receding lines only need one vanishing point. Before we add too many more buildings, we could just sort out the crossroads, which is the cross of two roads which wrap around the vanishing point in the centre of our drawing. So for each building, I would start by drawing the corner first, because it's easiest. And once you've got the corner line coming towards us from the vanishing point, then we can draw a right angle, a bit like an arrow, and then we can find the other two corners of the building by drawing two more receding lines coming towards us from the vanishing point. And because this drawing is sort of growing from the vanishing point, we can develop the shapes as we go along. So this skyscraper that I'm drawing at the moment, it could have a base, and that base could have a slight thickness, so some of the lines go towards the vanishing point to create depth. And then we could fit in another building on the left. So in a way, this drawing is going to have four quarters, because there are going to be two main roads as a cross going through the vanishing point. And then at each corner of the main road, we'll put a building. We can draw a building, and each of these buildings will start by drawing the corner of the building, and then once we've got the main building for each corner drawn, then we can squeeze in other buildings which are behind the main building at the main corner. And remember, all of the receding lines just go towards the vanishing point, and for each building, the more receding lines that they have on each face of the building, the more that they'll look like they're receding. I think the next step would be to make the crossroads, the two roads, be a bit more precise in their lines. I'm using a 4B pencil for this drawing, and I'll just press with the point on the paper a little bit firmer to get a darker line, and draw a couple of parallel lines to make a road that goes through the vanishing point as a crossroads. And then at right angles we can draw the other road that crosses it. With a drawing like this, you could just draw the lines freehand or use a ruler, it doesn't really matter. So now we have the crossroads worked out a little bit more with firmer lines. Then we can draw another right angle towards the crossroads for the base of the new building, and then draw the nearest corner of the building going all the way to the right of the page, so one big long line. So that's the corner of the building. Next we can draw one of the sides of the building using our vanishing point. And then we can draw the second side of the building so that we've got the front corner and two sides of the building showing. Now it's in extreme perspective because we're looking straight down at a very, very tall building. Just darken the road a little bit, and then the edge of the base of the building too. So once you've got the corner building in, then we can pack in a few other buildings which are sort of tucked in behind it. Again, as always, using the vanishing point for the receding lines, and the tops of all of the buildings will be rectangles, or at least right angles. So over here we can draw another building, start by drawing the base of the building and then using the vanishing point to draw the receding line, which is receding to the vanishing point but coming towards us, the viewer of the image. And once you're ready, you could put some platforms of the levels of the building, and again these will be right angles. So the first set of lines are parallel to the crossroads, to one of the lines on the crossroads, and then the second set of lines are at right angles to the first set. So in that way we make the floors of a corner of a very tall building in 1 point perspective. So the next step in this drawing is to repeat the techniques for drawing buildings using 1 point perspective from a bird's eye point of view, looking straight down from a great height on a crossroads in a city. If you'd like to learn more about different drawing techniques and drawing using perspective, please visit my website circlelineartschool.com, where you can find more details of my online drawing courses and special offers. Drawing is a skill that anyone can learn step by step by following a series of structured, essential drawing techniques. If you'd like to develop your own drawing skills, please consider joining one of my online drawing courses. If you choose the tutor support option, I will be able to help you with your individual drawings throughout the course. I love to see your drawings, so please consider joining one of my online drawing courses and see real improvements in your artwork. So for this drawing, we can just finish the last corner building, again using the vanishing point for the receding lines, which are receding from us but also coming towards us. And then again, as we did with the very first building, we cap it off with a rectangle at the top, and the rectangle is parallel to the lines of the crossroad. And then we can draw some of the buildings which are behind the main corner building. And because this is 1 point perspective, some of these buildings at the far edges will be very distorted. So the next step would be to add some smaller details to the top of the roof structures, little small structures to the top of the buildings to add some scale. And then once you're ready, it might be a nice idea to add Spider-Man. So to do that, we could just draw the head of Spider-Man and a basic body, and then an arm coming forwards towards us. So just basic shapes at this stage, and then a leg and foot also coming towards us. And then the other arm is coming away from us, so we've got some foreshortening in the body, and then the other knee and leg as well. And then I'll just put some spirals on the body and darken the lines a little bit. So at this stage I'm drawing too many lines for what I need, but I'll erase the central lines and then check the outlines and then add some tone and some detail, but mainly some tone or values, some shading, because in that way, if we add quite a lot of shading, we don't need to put too much detail in. So try and get the figure so that Spider-Man works okay for your drawing. So think about the sort of basic shapes that you need. Don't try and explain things too much. Just indicate. And then he seems to keep changing his suit. So for this drawing, I'll just draw one of the more old-fashioned Spider-Man suits. And then we can fix the eye shapes. And then we can actually use the spiderweb design to create some sense of form, so it looks more three-dimensional. And then the areas that are a bit more complicated, we can just make those darker. So this front forward leg, we can just put some curved lines around it, and it makes it almost like a structural drawing, which is useful to have. And then we can really add more and more lines to the buildings. I think with a drawing like this, you can't really have too many lines. It just depends how many lines you want to do. And then after a while, you might think it's a good idea to add some cars to the road, but they'd be very tiny because they're so very, very far away from us, the viewer. Once you've got the cars in and the basic structure of the drawing is there, then it might be nice to add some tone, some shading. So I'll start with Spider-Man around the head and a shadow below the head. And then most of the body is in quite a dark tone, but I'll just do a mid-tone first of all, just using the side of the pencil, trying not to concentrate on one area too much, moving the pencil around from area to area to try and bring it so it develops together all in one go, rather than trying to fix any one point too much at any one stage. But before we add some more tone to Spider-Man, I think there could be a direction of light. So the buildings, the right-hand side of the buildings will be in shadow, and then they'll cast a shadow. So this one will cast a shadow very far away, low down, across the road. And then the next one will have a cast shadow too, going across the road. And then the form shadow for the side of the building, travelling all the way down to the ground floor. And then the details at the tops of the buildings would also have a cast shadow going towards the right. However you arrange the shadows, try and be consistent with whatever you've started to do. So this building will have a shadow that is cast across the road, and then it goes up the side of this other building that comes towards us at the base of the drawing. So just really thinking about what shadows you need and what will work best for your drawing. If you'd like to find out more about drawing or about my online drawing courses, please visit circlelineartschool.com. Thanks very much for watching this drawing. I hope you found it useful for your own drawings. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can see a new free video every week. Thanks for watching and see you next time.